fifth episode begins immediately after Reacher discovers the horrifying truth about Lila. He had gone to her hotel room believing he was there to help her, only to find several men brutally murdered inside. Before he can understand what happened, the Philadelphia Police Department arrives at the scene and surrounds the building. With the dead bodies inside and Reacher at the location, the police immediately treat him as a suspect. Reacher manages to escape through the hotel's trash chute before the police can capture him. Once outside, he contacts Tamara and learns that the medical examiner has reached an important conclusion about the karambit found in connection with the murders. Reacher then begins putting the pieces together. He realizes that one of his previous assumptions about Anna's USB drive was wrong. Anna had not sent the drive to Lila. If Lila was responsible for the kidnapping and murder of Ben, Anna would never have trusted her with something so important. Instead, Anna must have mailed the drive to someone she trusted. Reacher realizes that person is Jacob. At the same time, Tamara and Jacob have also begun reaching the same conclusion about Lila. They head to Jacob's house to search for the drive. Plum joins them and begins investigating Lila's background. What they discover makes Lila's identity even more suspicious. Before recently becoming involved in the case, she had almost no visible financial activity. Her financial records suddenly changed when a platinum American Express card appeared under her name. The card was used to pay for Lila, Amisha, and their bodyguards to travel from Indonesia to the United States. It also paid for a man named Tomas Waberi to travel from Djibouti, although the group has no immediate explanation for his connection to Lila. While Plum continues looking into Lila, Jacob searches his home and finds the USB drive. He also finds Anna's phone, but the phone is completely dead. Before they can examine either item properly, Lila and Amisha suddenly arrive at the house. They are armed with automatic weapons and immediately open fire. Jacob, Tamara, and Plum are forced to escape while Lila and Amisha pursue them. The confrontation quickly turns into a high-speed chase. Jacob manages to force the women's vehicle into a dangerous situation by making a sharp turn at high speed. Their car crashes, leaving Lila and Amisha trapped near a bridge while the police begin closing in. Jacob decides to keep them on the bridge until the backup Tamara has called arrives. He tries to prevent the women from escaping, but the situation becomes increasingly dangerous. Rather than allow themselves to be captured, Lila and Amisha make a desperate decision. They jump from the bridge into the raging river below. Tamara believes the fall may have killed them, but Jacob is not convinced. He suspects they survived the jump. Jacob, Tamara, and Plum then make their way toward the Mayfield Police Department. Jacob takes them to meet Monty, his father's former partner, whom Jacob refers to as his uncle. Monty initially appears willing to help them, but it quickly becomes clear that he cannot be trusted. He is working with authorities and attempts to turn the group over to the FBI. Monty does provide one important piece of information before the situation deteriorates. Lila and Amisha survived the bridge jump. They have already escaped and are continuing their attempt to get away. They slash the throat of a local man and steal his car, confirming Jacob's suspicion that the two women are still alive and on the move. Meanwhile, Reacher is once again taken into custody by the Philadelphia police. With the murders at Lila's hotel room being blamed on him, he is treated as a wanted murderer. Doherty appears, but does little to help him. Reacher is left inside a cell while the authorities prepare to deal with him. Then someone from Reacher's past appears. Foster, one of his former CIA associates, arrives disguised as a police officer. Foster intends to take control of Reacher and bring him into custody, but Reacher refuses to surrender. Reacher grabs Foster through the cell bars and pulls him toward him with such force that he tears off one of Foster's ears. After overpowering him, Reacher takes the keys and escapes from the police station. Once free, Reacher contacts Tamara and the others. They have already escaped the precinct themselves and obtained another vehicle through Tamara's contact, Cyrus. Cyrus has also taken care of the cat they had been carrying with them. Reacher arranges to meet the group at a hotel. The group finally gets a brief opportunity to examine what they have recovered. Reacher bribes a member of the hotel cleaning staff, allowing them to use a room for a few hours. They connect the USB drive to a computer while also attempting to charge Anna's phone. When they finally open the drive, they discover that it contains only a photograph. The image shows Sampson and Cahill standing with General Putra. There is also another man visible in the background. The photograph raises more questions than answers. Reacher contacts Sampson and asks about the unidentified man. Sampson claims that the man was simply a scientist who had been conducting malaria research in the area. Reacher is not given any immediate explanation for why such a photograph was important to Anna or why she went to such lengths to protect the drive. Anna's phone remains another potential source of information. She had provided a code for the phone, but because the device is dead, the group cannot immediately access what is stored inside it. The situation becomes even more difficult because Reacher is now a fugitive. News of the murders and his escape is spreading, meaning the police and other authorities are actively searching for him. The group cannot remain together in one place for long. They decide to split into two teams. Jacob and Plum will investigate the unidentified man in the photograph and try to determine who he is and what connection he has to Sampson, Cahill, and General Putra. Reacher and Tamara will follow another lead connected to Lila. Before Anna disappeared, Lila had sent her an address for an abandoned restaurant. She had also sent videos showing the OnlyFans model and Ben being tortured. The location appears to be connected directly to what happened to Ben, so Reacher and Tamara decide to investigate it. Getting Reacher out of the hotel proves difficult because the police are already closing in. Tamara comes up with a plan to make it appear that she has arrested Reacher herself. She uses the deception to get him out of the building while avoiding the officers searching for him. The escape quickly turns into another pursuit. Reacher and Tamara run through the area while attempting to stay ahead of the police. They manage to lose their pursuers and continue toward the abandoned restaurant. When they finally reach the location, Reacher immediately realizes that something terrible happened there. The restaurant is the place where Ben was tortured and killed. Reacher examines the interior and studies the bloodstains, damaged objects, and torn restraints. From the evidence left behind, he reconstructs what happened to Ben. The location confirms that the videos Lila sent to Anna were connected to the restaurant and that Ben had been held and tortured there before he was killed. But Reacher and Tamara are not alone. Lila and Amisha have already arrived at the restaurant. They have Jacob with them, and Jacob is being held hostage. The discovery changes the situation immediately. Reacher had gone to the restaurant hoping to find answers about Lila, Ben, and Anna. Instead, he walks directly into another confrontation with the people responsible for the murders. Lila now wants the USB drive. Reacher still does not know exactly why the photograph on the drive is so important, but it is clearly connected to the larger mystery. Lila's determination to obtain it confirms that the drive contains information she does not want Reacher and the others to uncover. With Jacob being held hostage, Reacher cannot simply attack. Lila and Amisha have already demonstrated that they are willing to kill anyone who gets in their way. Reacher and Tamara are therefore forced to face them carefully, while Jacob remains in danger.